Good morning, it's Barbara. It is warm outside, but it is also going to be raining. I don't think it's raining quite yet, but it's pretty dreary out there. Good morning, it's Barbara. Thank you for joining me for coffee. My second cup. I am going to use my normal color lipstick, nothing fancy and nothing that will be dry or stay on. I am going out and about today. I will be going to the accountant, and I will say that once I get to the accountant and find out if there's anything else I have to do, I will be so relieved. I have been feeling stressed about all this stuff, but I have pulled together everything for my parents, and I don't even know if this is how it's going to work. But I have for my parents' tax return together. I don't know how that works with them both gone. My mother's my mother's estate taxes, which I'm probably being foolish to have him do it because I think it's going to be really easy, but I don't really know, and I don't really want to worry about it, and I don't want to do the research. So I'm taking him to him. And the trust taxes, I got the information that I needed, and so he should be able to do the taxes for my sister's trust, just the one that I'm in charge of. That's what I'm bringing today. The only other one we're having him do is our personal taxes, and we can't do that until we get more information from Auda about my sister's trusts. So I'm giving him everything I have, and we'll scan and email the rest. Or I'll take another ride. But, so anyway, I'm just having my nice lipstick. This is a good color. My granddaughter said it was a good color. And they're the makeup experts in the family. So there you go. Meanwhile, hello. I worked hard yesterday. Oh, before I tell you about yesterday, I'm going to open my Advent. I got a lead up to your birthday Advent from Lisa, and it's been so much fun. A gorgeous bag, a beautiful stained glass style thing of a robin to put in my window, and adorable puppy paw needle stoppers that are so cute. But speaking of puppy paws, before I even do this, I want to tell you Pearl is home and she's doing okay. There she is. She's wearing her t-shirt and her booty. See that? She's scratching herself. That foot has a booty on it because we don't want her to scratch her stitches. So she had the big rod removed from her leg and 2 pins, so that because they were making uncomfortable for whatever reasons, and so she had those removed. So she has a couple of places with a few stitches. She didn't get a lot of stitches. It certainly wasn't that huge cut like she had when everything was inserted, but she has stitches, and she is going to be on no fun for 2 more weeks until those stitches come out. She has an appointment to get her stitches out, and we're hoping that she can pretty much go back to normal. But every time we turn around, it's another 2 weeks. But she is doing well. She's such a good patient. And she has a booty on her back foot so that if she scratches at her arm, it doesn't pull the stitches. She's got a t-shirt on covering up the stitches, and her handle, and she's fine. So that's the big news. She came home last night. She's fine. She was a little wobbly last night, but she ate a little bit of dinner. We gave her a smaller dinner than typical, and she did fine. We got a call this morning from the vet asking how she was doing, and I told her she was doing great. And they want to know, was she able to eat this morning? And I said, well, we only feed once a day, so she hasn't been offered any food yet, but she ate last night. And they said, oh, good. Well, then I'm sure everything's fine. So That's the update on Pearl. She is home, but that means no Kobe. Our grand dog, Kobe, can't come on Saturday when my kids and my grandchildren come for my birthday dinner. So that's too bad, but that should be the last time. After that, they can bring Kobe. I hope, because that's making us sad. My Advent. This is from Lisa for my birthday, lead up to my birthday Advent. I think these are so cute on gifts, also handy on the back of sweaters. Oh, they're labels. Let's see. Leather labels with sort of rivety things. And they say, handmade with love. How wonderful. How wonderful. And they go on with these kinds of gizmos. Oh, thank you, my dear. And I keep thinking, oh, I've got to get things made with Isabel and Sammy's name on them. I never did. This is great. Handmade with love. And that will remind them, don't throw it in the washing machine, right? Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You have made my birthday so special. I have, and I've been so stressed, and I've had it just has been a delight. Thank you, my friend. But she's not the only one thinking about me. I mean, I know you're all thinking about me, but look what I got from Danielle. Danielle is the sock queen. Danielle comes most of the time, not always, to our Zoom calls, and we are personal friends, she and I. She's stayed with me overnight, and not that you're not all personal friends. I don't know how to say that. In real life, I've hugged her. She's a friend I've been able to hug. Anyway, she knits so many socks. I think she must knit 50 pair of socks a year or more. And she, with some of the leftovers, she makes Christmas ball ornaments. Anyway, she's a sock knitter, 100% sock knitter. So I always tease her when I, because when we do our Zooms, I go around and say, what are you working on? And so with her, I say, what socks are you working on? Because she's always working on socks. Unfortunately, she had to have some work done on her arm and is not able to knit for 8 weeks, knit or crochet. I'm so sorry, my dear. Anyway, gorgeous. And she gave me this lovely card with a funny note on it. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us every day, even if you don't respond to me when I talk. Very cute. Happy birthday. But she also sent me, I obviously went on and on about my penguins, because she also sent me some beautiful top stoppers for the tops of my knitting needles too. So thank you, my dear. So now I am all set, because I do have a tendency to have more than one thing going on. And while I had something that I've been using, I fell out of love with it. It's a big long tube and your needles stick in it. I fell out of love with it after I got those penguins. And now I don't have to use it because of Lisa and Danielle. Thank you, my friend. Oh my gosh. Now I'm going to sound like Leslie. Now I'm starting to feel spoiled. I'm, pretty spoiled. Anyway, look at these colors. So I told her my next thing is going to have to be with minis from Danielle. And she says, or they can go in your blanket. And that's right. She saves them for me to go in my blanket that I'm trying to make. Well, I haven't worked on it in a long time. Confession time. I haven't worked on it in a long time, and I'm going to have to remember how to do the corners when I start again. But I'm doing the giantest granny square blanket for my bed. I have a king size bed, which is square, and I kept trying. Those of you who've been around know this. I kept trying. I've started it. This is the third time I'm starting it. Well, I'm not starting it anymore. I'm pretty big, but because I kept making it the wrong size, and finally, brilliant friends said, "Why don't you just make a granny square? Since it's a square, you can just keep going until it's the right size," which was perfect. So I have quite a big square. It's well big enough to be like a throw in the couch. And I'm still knitting off of the first two starts. That's how much, I'm not knitting, crochet. It's crochet, it's a granny square. But that's how much I had done on my false starts. So I am looking forward to putting fresh colors in there. It's I'm doing a neutral color, undyed, and then color, and then undyed and color. So I'm making it striped. Of course, it was going to be striped anyway, but you know what I mean. Cheers. So I have brilliant, beautiful colors for my blanket. Or whatever. So thank you both of my friends who have sent me these lovely birthday things. I really, really appreciate it. I'm enjoying thinking about my birthday month, although I confess I haven't gotten my flowers yet. But auras are dying. So I'm thinking about dropping my vase off on my way to the accountant, which is not horribly out of my way. And picking it up on my way home. I bet you they would do that for me. So maybe that'll be the thing. We'll see. Meanwhile, so yesterday, and you all know I'm such a procrastinator. So yesterday, because I read the day before, was my big day to work on organizing things for my taxes. So one thing that I did was I went through my parents' last year's tax returns, because I have several years back, and they get a nice little folder from their accountant, and so it was easy to do. And I'm going through them, and I'm like, they had to declare, $15 of something on the 1099 something for the overage of the earnings versus the dividends on a life insurance policy for my father from State Farm, which is an insurance company in the United States. I do not have the, documentation, because I haven't been able to get my parents' mail forwarded to me, and they're sending it back from the home. I didn't get the tax document from the State Farm, and I didn't know about this life insurance policy. But I had the thing from last year, so I had a phone number. So I called, and I talked to a lovely lady named Jolene. Oh my God, talk about having the best song ever for your name. In Colorado, and she gave me the skinny on this life insurance policy for my father. I have to send documentation, and so I can get things, that I need, but she gave me the numbers so I can give them to my accountant. But meanwhile, my dad had taken out a life insurance policy, a whole life policy, in 1953, which was the year before I was born. Yeah. And she's like, wow, he bought this in 1953. And I said, well, who's the beneficiary? He says, his wife. And I don't know if it named my mother or just said his wife. And I said, well, my mother passed away about 6 weeks after my dad did. And she said, oh, well, we're going to have to find out, because some states have rules that a beneficiary can't collect if they don't live for 2 months, 60 days after the death of the first person. and my mother did not. And I've seen this, in fact, that's in my sister's trust that says our beneficiary has to survive her by 2 months before they're eligible to be her beneficiary. So this is very common. I think the main impetus for this is in case, like, both people are in a car accident, and so they don't have to try to determine who died first. You know what I mean? I mean, a really icky circumstance, or in a plane crash or something like that, where both people pass away within a short amount of time of each other. And so they don't, they want to make sure there's not that situation. So anyway, my mother did not survive my father by 60 days. So she says it may, I don't know about Pennsylvania, we'll have to find out. So my mother may not have benefited. I said, well, are there other beneficiaries? And she says, yes. The secondary beneficiaries are the natural children of said wife. I'm like, oh, wow. She's like, we don't do that anymore. So anyway, that would be my brothers and my sister and me. My sister was born at that time. She was born in 51, so she was 2 years old when Daddy took out this policy. But if my mother couldn't inherit because of this policy, then my sister couldn't either, because my sister passed 2 days after my mother. So I'm hoping that Pennsylvania doesn't have that 60-day, and this just goes into my mother's estate. Anyway, it was pretty interesting. But it turns out he's earning $250 a year in interest, too. I'm like, well, how much is this policy worth? And it turns out it's worth the $5,000. It was a $5,000 policy plus $7,300 that it's earned over the years in interest and stuff. My brother's like, well, that $5,000 is worth a hell of a lot more than that if it weren't in this insurance policy. But, they would have spent it. So anyway, it was pretty interesting. So I'm making phone calls. There's I discovered two things that were in their tax return last year that I didn't have, but I made phone calls and got the numbers. And one of the things it says in the thing I signed for the accountant is they're going to believe me, and it's my fault if it's wrong. So hopefully they will believe me, and we will be able to move forward on my parents' tax returns. And meanwhile, I'll come back and try to get the documentation for both things that I need to find. But anyway, it was a pretty interesting. And so I was making phone calls and digging, and I found everything I think I need, which feels good. And now, after I talk to you and start uploading you, I will be copying. Oh, but the procrastinator's nightmare. And this happens to us all the time. Some of you are procrastinators out there, and you know how it is. So here I sit down before Dennis is up. Well, I told you yesterday. So I was having trouble getting to the network yesterday. Well, it turns out we had a problem with the network, and a piece of our equipment is dying, and blah, blah, blah. And I can't send things to the printer, and it's my last day before I'm going to the accountant, and of course I leave things to the last minute, and there you are. But Dennis, being the miracle worker he is, was able to fix it. And for some reason my laptop won't print to the regular black and white printer. It'll only print to the color printer. And yeah, so some things are in color that don't need to be, but whatever. So very frustrating morning for both of us, because of course it's always frustrating for him anyway when his system doesn't work, and then knowing, and I am not nearly as patient as I used to be in my old age, and in my younger age. Now that I'm in my old age, I'm not as patient. We keep blaming it on COVID, but I don't know. I could just be old and grumpy. Anyway, so poor Dennis, but he got it working, and I got what I needed in time for me to sit down and relax with dinner, and that was fine. But I was really tired, more tired than I usually am. I slept okay, not great. And we got up early because Pearl had to go to the vet. And 8:30, I'm sitting in my chair. I'm like, I am exhausted. So I went to my bedroom and got ready for bed and read my phone in bed. And I turned off the light before 10 o'clock. And I slept pretty well. I was just tired. Dennis is like, the problem with going to bed at 8:30 is you'll wake up at 10:30 and then you'll be awake. Was not a problem. I slept pretty well. And I slept basically until 7:30, which was fine. It was a good time to get up. And so now I'm talking to you. I've had my first cup of coffee. I've brought Genesis tea. I gave Aura her pills and her coffee. And now I've talked to you. So I'm going to upload my vlog for today, and then I'm going to go make copies. And I've made one copy this morning already. So while I can't send things to that printer / copier / fax machine / scanner, I can copy. So I'm going to do that. And put everything in big envelopes and get everything organized and hope that I have everything. And I'm going to go meet my accountant. And if he takes my papers, I am going to be very excited. And then I'm just going to straighten up what's on the table, figure out where it can live, figure out what I need to keep. But it would have been easier if I had put a box on that floor. I could have thrown things in the box, because I have another box over there that's very full. But these my dad kept, turns out it was good, kept everything. Most of it totally useless, but not everything. So I'm able to do what I need to do because he kept everything. And Dennis said, you know what, why don't we just put that in a box and put it away somewhere in case one of these days later you're going to say, oh no, I shouldn't have thrown that away. And I think I'll take his advice and do that. I don't even think those things need to be shredded. That's how useless they are. So, but they will be cleaned up off the floor. I mean, really, look, the table. Look at the table. I mean, it's almost like sorted out, right? So I'm feeling better. I'm feeling much better. And thank you so much for your support. And thank you for the good wishes for my birthday month. And thank you, Lisa and Danielle. Now I really have to start my next project because I have beautiful needle holders. Oh, I could put a puppy paw on one needle and a butterfly on the other. They don't have to match, right? Perfect. I'm going to go. Thank you so much. I will talk to you tomorrow. And hopefully I will have beautiful flowers to show you. Plus another thing to open on my Advent. I'm so excited. And by the time my birthday comes, I will have sorted things out. I did tell Dennis that he was in charge of getting our taxes organized. Because I've been doing all this other stuff, but of course, that's not fair either. So he and I will be working on our taxes, and as soon as we have everything we need, we can talk to, and I'll talk to the accountant about that today too. So meanwhile, I'm going to go. Please take care of yourselves. Please, please, please stay safe and stay sane.